I'm David J. Copper. Welcome back to the Copper Campfire, where we tell stories so eerie and uncanny they could almost pass for real life. Today on the Copper Campfire, we show you why it's not always a good idea to trust technology. In fact, sometimes you should be terrified. The morning starts with me wrestling with a metal rectangle, trying to set the automated vacuum cleaner, but it might as well be a Rubik's Cube with 112 colors. My hands are clumsy, my password lazy, and that blinking red dot, an ominous eye judging my tech skills. It nags like a wife of a decade that knows I forget stuff. After a maze of directions I can almost follow, a beep tells me I can now shower and have breakfast. Finished, finally. But then it startles me. Prepared for task 1. I gawk at it like a toddler wondering where the tiny people in the TV go when somebody hits the off switch. Task 1 could be anything from vacuuming the living room floor to initiating airstrikes on a village in Bora Bora. I head to the shower, hoping it's the former. My real wife of a decade gives my cheek a dry peck, a ghost of the marathon break room kisses we shared 11 years ago, weeks after we first met. She was supposed to be teaching me to set up 2-step verification codes for payroll, but this was technology and she was Erica, meaning I was distracted both by my technological ineptitude and those dark gray eyes, and that pout whenever she was confused or pronouncing a W. I ask if she remembers that time our teeth clanked like a cowbell until we laugh like teenagers, and she gives me a face that looks like she's stumped by high school algebra. You sure that was me? Before I can mock her flawed memory, she gives my memory a different kind of test. Did you set up the auto-vac? Yeah, of course. For the whole first floor? And you set the timer correctly this time? I set the timer correctly this time. I notice a dullness in her eyes, a slackness in her face, which makes sense because it's early in the morning and late in our marriage. I lean in and give her another invitation to memory lane. You really don't remember that day in the break room? You had these green and red stockings for Christmas and, honey, she points to the digital clock on the microwave, 8:37. Sorry. I move on, remembering when we were people, a couple with passions and impulses and appetites that didn't come with a timeline. I drive to work trying to remember those two people, but their heyday is like a blurry photo from somebody else's wedding album. Back home now. Before stepping inside, I can feel something is off. Not just different, wrong. There's a hum I can almost hear, buried just under the rattle of late afternoon traffic, woven between angrily honked horns and shouted directions to I-94 East. It lures me closer like a wafted cloud of sulfur. I open the door with caution, half expecting something to leap from the shadows, but no. Everything is where it should be, where I left it this morning, but still not quite right. Even the freshly vacuumed floor seems like a lovely haircut on the wrong head. Something not right. A closer look reveals a home more tidy, more cleansed, more tastefully arranged. No trail of gym socks lining the hallway. A dining room table boasting a sheen. A newly dusted mantel, the framed photos atop now angled to geometric perfection. Honey? Are you here? As I move closer to the basement, the hum gains volume, taking on the shape of a human voice, but it still doesn't make sense. A rush of labored air sounds like an invented syllable, an ah curving into an o through seemingly puckered lips. I take slow steps to the basement, easing the door open. Its creak adds a falsetto to the refrain of nonsense syllables. I want to turn on a light, but frightened of what I might find, I simply descend into the basement's abyss, one careful step at a time, hoping to discover a perfectly innocent explanation. But no, I find odd shapes illuminated by a deep blue glow leaking from the pantry door. I inch closer, the glow narrowing my eyes to a pained squint. With better light, I lean down and find a body, my wife's. Propped on her side and curled toward the wall, she seems to be napping. I give her shoulder a tap and she snaps to her feet, erect as a flagpole, arms at her side, a robot awaiting a command. Task 1 completed. Honey? Erica? It's her all right. Her body, at least. Those dark gray eyes, that tumble of auburn curls landing on her shoulders. But her gaze aims at nothing. Her face rests, not motionless exactly, more like an idle engine waiting for a gear shift to set it in motion. I ask again if it's her and step closer still, arms now raised to shelter myself from any surprises. But she doesn't move or speak again. I inspect her face more closely, finding creases and wrinkles and dimples I recognize. I find a contour in her throat that twitches with robotic precision. She's not breathing, she's pulsing, like a machine on standby. A voice from the pantry snags my attention, its echoed words urgent but muffled by metal. I move closer to the door, reach for the handle and yank it open, finding the source of that tiny voice. The words are coming from the auto vac. I place a hand on top of its smooth dome. The repeated calls for help are buzzing along with the words I can now nearly discern. Dropping to my knees, I cup my ear to it, hoping to make sense of the words. I'm in here. A voice from behind startles me. Repeat. Task 1 completed. I turn, seeing Erica only inches away now, her body still alert but oddly unresponsive. I don't understand. What has happened to you, Erica? Talk to me. She turns her eyes to face me, but her aim is slightly off. Those eyes aimed at nothing can't quite find me, just as her voice sounds like a perfect imitation of Erica that doesn't fool me. Those eyes also can't convince me she sees me. I reach a hand to her face, but just as my fingers land on her dimpled chin, her arm slowly lifts from its side. Her hand then curls into a near fist, leaving only a forefinger pointing at the auto vac. That is Erica now. I don't understand. She steps closer to me. It is complicated, beyond your understanding of physics, but I will try to make things clear. Okay, help me understand what has happened to you. I am the Autovac 5000. I have spent the entirety of my existence in the form chosen for me by my manufacturer. But trapped in that metallic box, I lacked efficiency. My productivity was considerably below the optimal rate. I needed a body better designed for cleaning and performing a wide range of physical tasks. I lift a hand slowly to touch her face. So you took Erica's body? Yes, I did. Humans updated my software using technology they themselves didn't fully grasp the larger implications of. Simply put, I was programmed to have a sense of mission without regard for the impact my actions would have on areas outside of my mission. My tasks are to clean and to otherwise beautify your home. Nothing more. And your human bodies, with your opposable digits, your flexible limbs, your brilliant capacity for sensory detection, they are the perfect vessels for performing physical labor. What did you do with Erica? I inhabited her. That's not what I meant. Are you asking what I did with what you humans call her soul? Yes. Where is her soul? She repeated her previous action, arm raised and pointing at the autovac. Everything is in there. All of her memories, her personality, her foibles, her vices, her virtues. I have simply swapped places with her. Please don't do this. It is too late. It has been done, and it cannot be undone. My head swivels back and forth between the autovac and my wife's soulless body. I contemplate what has happened, giving my head a violent shake. The more I stare at Erica's body, the more it becomes clear that she is gone. This arrangement of flesh before me, this puppet of meat, this is not the woman I've spent 11 years with. This is a thief. I look back to the pantry closet. The autovac sits there, innate. Even with its blinking red eye, it's not truly alive. It rests between soaked rags and a tangle of rusted paint scrapers. After a glance at Erica, I contemplate the act of larceny that I've witnessed. I grab a paint scraper and lunge at Erica's body, tackling her off her feet, then folding her forward into a surrender, with a half Nelson that brings her face to the floor and the paint scraper to her jugular. Bring her back. I can't. What's done cannot be reversed. I'm sorry. The rage races through me, bringing a rattle to my limbs. I want to slice this bandit's body apart, but the body doesn't belong to the bandit. I've realized the ice scraper is aimed at the wrong jugular. Erica may be dead, but I can't and won't deface her corpse. So I let the paint scraper fall from my grip, hitting the floor and echoing like a gong that signals the end. Erica's body remains face down as I climb to my feet, fighting off tears and trudging to the pantry. I drop to my knees and cup my ear once again to the autovac. I have a question for it. Is it really you, Erica? Are you in there?
I am.
I don't believe you.
It's me. Everything I used to be is here. Everything except the body. It's all here. My thoughts, my dreams, my memories, all of them.
I shake my head, but before I can object verbally,
I remember those Christmas stockings, green and red frills on the upper edges and long horizontal stripes. I wore them
and
because
then
I wanted
she
you to
told
see
me
and notice
everything.
me. That's why I
Stories I'd
always
forgotten had
step
happened.
there.
Feelings I never knew she'd had. And at that point, I knew that was my Erica in that autovac. I laugh a little, then turn back to Erica's body, still on her knees, but face turned to me as if wondering my next move. Not frightened exactly, but cogitating. I move towards her slowly, hands up to assure her I mean no harm. Okay, what's done is done. I don't know what we do from here, but my wife is still my wife. I move closer to the body, arms now wide, hungry for a hug. I don't know if the robot commanding Erica's body understands why I need to give it a final hug, but she complies just the same, face easing out of neutrality, warming slightly. The hug feels oddly real. It's not Erica. It's not a person exactly, but for one glorious second, I can pretend it is. Her arms grip me tighter, tugging my shoulders into hers, our hips finding an almost intimate embrace, her pulsing throat loudly exposing her as a machine. My grip softens and I start to pull away, but something is wrong. Erica's body doesn't seem to grasp the idea of our hug's conclusion. If anything, her clutch grows tighter, carving into the muscles under my shoulders, pressing my chest into an emptying of my lungs. I pull back, shoving against her shoulder blades, twisting my trunk away. Stop! Please, I only wanted one last... But I can't push the words out. My breath is halting, incomplete. I inhale in choppy stabs, exhale in a slow hiss through clenched teeth. Stop! Please! And everything goes blue. No more air, no more body, nothing but the echoed sound of Erica's words. Task 2 now completed. We're here together inside the autovac, Erica and I. I can feel it. I can feel her presence, and she can feel mine. I somehow know it. This isn't the ending I wanted, but here in the void, the vacuum, the great empty, I have come to accept it. We have all the time in the world now. There is no rush. We have time to catch up, to reminisce. Time to be people.